Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Nicole Pruitt, and I'd like to thank you for joining our call. We're waiting for a few more to join us, and we'll be ready to begin in just a few moments. We're so excited to see each of you, and we are excited about our content today and the start of our United Way campaign. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for your patience. Good afternoon. I'd like to thank you once again for joining our call for today's UA coordinator meeting for our United Way campaign. It's so great to see each of you, and we are excited with the information we have to share with you. As you all know, the campaign is so important. It's truly vital to West Alabama, and we are thankful for each of you and the contributions you make as coordinators and your pledges to the campaign. They are just so vital. I first want to start with sharing a bit of information about my connection to United Way. In addition to serving as our employee campaign champion and a loaned executive this year, I volunteered to serve to expand my contribution to the United Way, as I know many of you have. Each one of us probably has a personal connection with a United Way or partner agency, and it's that why that really drives all of us. The United Way has an immeasurable impact on the community, and there are countless ways that we could describe the United Way's impact. But I know for me, back in 2011, I had just moved back from Indiana to Northwest Alabama. And the United Way was really important for my transition, not only back professionally, but personally. As we know, the tornado impacted the entire state, and even in the northwest part of the state, where I was, our United Way had a long-term recovery committee, and I had skills as a grant manager and really wanted to volunteer. And the United Way there opened their arms and allowed me to volunteer to manage the governor's emergency relief fund. And it impacted me so much to see the long-term recovery committee and the way in which manufactured housing was being provided for those who had experienced such devastating losses during the tornado. And so although I had a professional skill set that I wanted to volunteer to use with the United Way, it impacted me personally. And it's really the reason why I wanted to deepen my commitment and serve as the loan executive for this year, in addition to employee campaign champion, because of the impact the United Way, no matter where it is, has had on my life, and I'm sure on your lives and those that you know and love. So thank you for your time today, and thank you for serving either as a part of the leadership team or as a level 1, 2, or 3 coordinator. We really appreciate the time and investment that you will make with this campaign. The kind and caring spirit of the UA family is really why our campaign has been so successful. As many of you know, and if you don't, UA's campaign is #1 in the SEC, and we want to maintain that status, that reputation with our campaign through our pledges and through our engagement of our faculty, staff, and retirees. Our role as coordinators really contributes to that success. And so, yes, we thank you for your willingness to serve. We thank you in advance for the pledges that you will make. But you have the closest relationships with those in your units, in your colleges, to make the biggest impact. So as we think about the start of our campaign, and I shared my why, think about sharing yours and the connection either you or a loved one has with United Way or a partner agency to really drive that momentum and encouragement for our colleagues to participate in this year's campaign, in our campaign every year. It's my pleasure to introduce a few members of our leadership team. We consider you all to be a part of that leadership team as well, and you can see their names listed on the screen, and you will have an opportunity to meet and hear from some of them in just a little bit. So Dean Suzanne Prevost and the Capstone College of Nursing, we are so excited that they are the host college for this year. We have just been pleased with our planning and our engagement over the past few months, and now we're at the starting point. And so we're so excited, and they are as well. Dr. Michelle Cheshire, as well as Dr. Michelle Montgomery, are our co-chairs for this year. Caroline Railsback, our treasurer. Prathima Gilliam serves as IT and has developed our online platform that were introduced to last year, and then we will have an opportunity to engage with this year. And then all of the members in our Division of Community Affairs, from our fearless leader, Dr. Pruitt, to all of those behind the scenes, really helping to make our campaign a success. We thank you. And to each of you, we thank you as well. We are so thankful that the Capstone College of Nursing is hosting this year, and President Bell has set the UA goal at 400,000 for this year. So fantastic goal for a fantastic campaign year. And the Capstone College of Nursing has selected the theme that you may have noticed when you entered the room: committed to caring for those in need. And we are excited about that theme. You will see that branding on all of our materials and on the website. And how appropriate a theme for a college whose mission is built on promoting health and well-being throughout Alabama and beyond. With that being said, it is my pleasure to introduce the 2021 United Way campaign co-chairs. You heard me list their names, but I'll mention them again. Dr. Cheshire and Dr. Montgomery will serve as our co-chairs for this year. And I'd like to turn the floor over to Dr. Cheshire for her remarks.
We are so excited at the Capstone College of Nursing to be a part of this year's United Way campaign. I think it was our turn to be a part, but as Dean Prevost has said on multiple occasions, it was certainly a fitting year after the year that we have been through and the impact that nurses have made, certainly during this pandemic. And we're hoping to be continuing to educate students to make a difference to affect the pandemic. But I do want to talk to you just a second about my why. I have been in Tuscaloosa for 31 years. I married a Tuscaloosa native, and so when we moved here, I learned about the United Way and became involved in agencies that the United Way supported. But about 15 years ago, I became very involved with the Good Samaritan Clinic. As many of you may know, that's a medical ministry that serves those who are uninsured and underinsured in West Alabama. So it covers 7 counties. I have the honor to volunteer there once a week as a nurse. And so I get to see the faces of the people that the dollars we will raise will help. every single week. That agency alone would not be able to function without United Way funds. And I know that's true for every other United Way agency as well. So I get the pleasure of looking in the faces of those that we serve and knowing that whatever we can give, however small or large our gift can be, is truly making a difference in our community and making our community a better place to live. So I'm very excited to be a part of this. I'm excited about Thursday when we'll get to do the kickoff at Gorgas and on the quad. So we're ready to be a part of this. And I know I speak for all of us at nursing that we're honored to be a part of it.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much. And now that I have full view of all of the participants, I see Dean Prepo is on our call. And so our fearless leader of our campaign, could we trouble you for a few remarks before we go further into the meeting?
My pleasure. Thanks to all of you for stepping up. I bet many of you have done this for multiple years. So if that's the case, I thank you for your long-term commitment and for agreeing to help out again. As Dr. Cheshire said, you know, we feel a special commitment at this point in time because the pandemic has had such an impact on our community and our state. And we know that there are a lot of people in need. There are a lot of people that are hurting in our community who really need the support of our United Way agencies. And I think that it's going to be more important this year than it has been many times in the past to really step up and do our part to support these agencies that are meeting the needs of our community. I know I don't know most of you, but I will just share from my personal perspective. I grew up in a family of limited means. As a child, I lived in Section 8 housing, and most of my childhood, my family did not have health insurance. And I started to nursing school with the support of a community foundation. And so a lot of people helped me in my upbringing to grow up to be a responsible adult and to have an education and a good profession that provides well for my family. And so I just really feel it's an opportunity for me to pay it forward and to give back to my community in the way that so many people have helped me when I was a younger person.
Thank you so much for those remarks and for sharing your why. It's amazing all of the connections each of us has. When we really think about it, to the United Way and partner agencies and the impact, and it truly for me serves as as motivation. Similar circumstances, Dean, and it's just incredible to hear these stories and the way they impact our hearts. So thank you so very much for sharing those comments. We have an opportunity to talk through our coordinator responsibilities. We'll give a high-level overview, and you have or should have a list of coordinator roles. If you do not have a copy, we'll be sure to attach a copy with the package of the recording of this meeting so that you can review that at your leisure. And so we'd like to start with our level 1 coordinator roles. This individual serves as a member of the planning team. They really provide that leadership of the college unit campaign and appoints all of us, whether we're a level 2 coordinator or a level 3. Your level 1s have been involved already and will be involved throughout the campaign. They may be engaged in meetings as needed, and we hope to see them at the kickoff and at the celebration. For level 2s, if you're on the call and you're a level 2 or you have questions about level 2s, think about this individual as the organizer. They definitely provide leadership for the unit, but it could mean that they set up meetings with a United Way speaker or partner agency speaker. If there are meetings coming up and you'd like to hear more from a certain agency, or you believe it would be impactful for your area to hear from a certain agency, That level 2 coordinator can reach out to my office, to the United Way, and we can help set up those meetings, that meaningful engagement that will really drive home the importance of our campaign. Those individuals also participate in meetings as needed. This call is an example, as well as the kickoff and the celebration. If you are a level 3 coordinator, you have a vital role as well. You will learn later this afternoon about our coordinator report platform, and you will be able to see, as well as all 3 levels of coordinators, will be able to see the real-time status of your college or unit so that you can see how you're progressing as we're working through the campaign, as pledges are coming in. You'll be able to see that in real time, and Prathima will provide us an overview of that shortly. This individual also will help distribute the pledge cards, and so we'll have those available at the kickoff for you to take back and distribute while encouraging online giving. So we wanted you to have as many options as you possibly could have. We wanted the printed pledge card and traditional envelope in your hands, but also the online platform that could be used. Level 3 coordinators will help us to collect and return these pledge cards. We have a drop box available behind rows. As a result of the pandemic, that was one of those creative ideas that we have maintained. It really works. And so that drop box is available for delivery of these pledge cards to eliminate the need to park and then to enter rows. Level 3s participate in our meetings as needed, and again, attend the kickoff as well as the celebration. Let me pause there. I don't see any questions related to any of that in the chat, but this seems to be a good point to pause just in case if there is a question. All right, if you do have those, you can place those in the chat at any point, and we will stop and address those. As I mentioned, the campaign this year will consist of a mixture of pledge cards as well as our online system, but the majority of our contributions will be taken on the online system. Pledge cards have been mailed to past leadership level contributors as well as to UA retirees. So if you are in one of those categories or know someone who is, you've already received a printed pledge card, as well as correspondence containing the link to the online system. So we're driving that engagement to the online system. Caroline and Prathima have been instrumental in working on this portion of our campaign, and thank you for so many hours of dedication thus far. First, we will hear from Caroline, who's the only United Way treasurer many of us have ever known. She always does a great job, and she has just been always passionate in her appreciation of the work done by the United Way. And just on a personal note, I had an opportunity to share a meeting with Caroline and Prathima, and we were talking about our why and just the way the United Way impacted us. And Caroline shared such an impactful story that I'm still thinking about. The way the partner agencies and the way they serve the community. So Caroline, thank you for sharing that story, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. And I will share that story with everyone at some point. It was a very powerful demonstration of how United Way goes above and beyond to work for this community. But I do want to thank everyone for taking time out during their lunch hour to be here with us today. I don't know if everyone knows, but there's 81 people on this call, and I very much appreciate the commitment to United Way today. We have had a number of contributors so far through the leadership specifically. We are 14% already to our goal, and we've had 44 people contribute, and that is in real time, which is part of this wonderful system that Prathima has built, with me cajoling and begging and asking for forgiveness when I make a promise of something to Dr. Pruitt in his area without checking with her. She has not stopped taking my phone calls or answering my emails yet, so we're still good. But we are doing pledge cards and online, primarily because there are some areas that pledge cards just work better because they're not, the employees, the staff members are not always at a computer to be able to enter their pledges in, or it may just be a personal preference. So we wanted everybody to feel comfortable with how they had the option to give. So you're going to have both. So at the kickoff, there'll be just the traditional envelopes that you've always been used to getting if you're a returning coordinator. But what's not going to be in there is what we used to lovingly call the tally sheet, which lists every employee's name and your goal at the top. Prathima is going to show you how we have joined the 21st century, and that is online now. And whether you are a level 1, 2, or 3, you're going to be able to see that online, depending on what you are. You'll be able to see, and it's going to show you, for instance, Caroline Railsback response received. It's going to tell you yes or no. It's not going to tell you how much Caroline gave, but it's going to let you know that I have responded appropriately, with a donation being a yes or a no being a yes. So you're not going to know what I did. You're just going to know that I did respond. So we're really excited about that. And again, God bless Prathima, because she's done this in about a week's time. So again, let me sing her praises, because this system that she created last year worked last year flawlessly, literally no mistake. And this year we've had one little email confirmation boo-boo that we fixed because it was something we had never done before, and it's fixed. So I would call, so far, that's a perfect system. And I'm going to let her show you this new report system that she has designed. And Prathima, it's all you now.
Thanks, Caroline. And thanks to Community Affairs, Dr. Pruitt, and you, of course, for how much support you've given me. There's a lot of support within our team, and I'm happy to be a part of that. And a little bit of my why, I'm excited to be here today. Both of my daughters went through the School of Nursing in undergrad, and so it's exciting to be a part of this year's campaign. And they both have relationships with the Good Samaritan Clinic. So, you know, we're big believers in our family of the United Way. So to talk a little bit about the online platform, let me share my screen. And all right, so to talk a little bit about it, the platform is an extension of what we did last year. We've added some features this year specifically for coordinators, but before I get into that, let me just mention that the system is still behind the Duo security system that is part of OIT. So you can be assured that your contribution is secure. So after you enter your username and password, you'll land on our home screen. And at the bottom of that screen is a start button that will allow you as the employee to enter your donation. And this year we have the ability to enter designations to, up to 3 agencies. So employees can do that. This year also, employees will receive an email, whether they enter it through the online platform or they enter a pledge card. So you should receive that email, either way. Coordinators will also have access to 2 new reports. The first report is a summary report that would likely be helpful if you're a level 1 or level 2 coordinator. So just looking at that report, it's going to contain information for you about the number of employees in your group, the % of responses that you've received or that you've received, or the number of responses, as well as the goal. I think one of the questions in the chat was if there's going to be individual goals, and there will be goals listed in this report that are specific to your area. You'll also see the ability, you'll see the total to date. So that'll give you some good information at a summary level. You'll have access to your areas that you are the coordinator for. So if you've got more than one area, those will be shown in the list here. You'll also have access to a detail report that will give a little bit more information about the employee count and if a response has been received. Again, the actual contribution amount is confidential. So that is, not listed here, but we will show the response that has been received by employees. So with that said, are there any other questions that you might have about the online system? Either through chat or through Zoom itself. Great. Well, thank you again. And I'm excited to be part of this year's campaign, which is actually the 75th anniversary for the United Way of West Alabama. So happy anniversary to the United Way. Oh, and I see a question from Adam. Who should we contact if the coordinator information is not correct? You certainly can contact either the Community Affairs Group or Caroline, and we will certainly get that fixed. So thank you, Adam, for that question.
Also in the chat, Prathima is thank you for doing this for us, Prathima. This is just incredible. And having the real-time reporting, and Caroline, all of the guidance that you have provided related to the development of the system, and Dr. Pruitt and his leadership. Thank you all so much. We are about to turn our attention to the United Way, but before we do that, I noticed that Dr. Michelle Montgomery is on our call, and I know she's been in a grant training, I believe, today. Yes. And Dr. Montgomery, we could not miss taking the opportunity to allow you to give some remarks, maybe your why related to the United Way.
Thank you, Dr. Pruitt, and I'm really happy to be here and kind of echo what Dean Prevost and Dr. Cheshire said about how thrilled the College of Nursing is to be able to be the host college this year. I think for me, one of the main whys is I came here 12 years ago and started teaching in community health. And we had a lot of opportunities to have our students be engaged with a number of the organizations that are supported by United Way. Obviously, the Good Samaritan Clinic is one of them, but there are many others like Hospice of West Alabama and Tuscaloosa's One Place. And to see the impact, to be there with students and see the impact that these organizations make in our community, but also the wonderful training they provided to our students, the opportunities that our students were able to get by being involved in those sites, and to hear the feedback from our students of what an impact it made to see the care that is provided to people in need in the community. They see the sick patients in the hospital. Then they often don't see what happens when those individuals have to go home and need different services and different levels of care. So it's just been a wonderful partnership for our college with so many of these organizations that wouldn't probably be there without United Way. And so that's for me, that's my why. I also, my home actually backs up to the Ark. So it kind of every morning I get to see the wonderful things that are going on back there from that service as well. So just thrilled to be a co-chair this year and happy to be here.
Thank you so very much. And there is a greenhouse at the Ark as well. And this beautiful plant on my desk was grown there. And so you're right, there's just so much goodness just coming out of the Ark in that area. And thank you for sharing your why. I have the pleasure of introducing Monique Scott. Monique and I attended Leadership Tuscaloosa together, and I've had an opportunity to get to know her through that program and then just through the great work at the United Way. Monique and I have been in close contact as the kickoff approaches, and we are so excited about the work we will do again together. So Monique has committed to join either Zoom calls or help us to arrange meetings with partner agencies and or visits. And so I'd like to welcome Monique to the call and ask her to provide a few remarks this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pruitt, and everyone on this call. Before we go any further, I want to personally thank you all for everything that you all are doing or you have done behind the scenes to get this campaign going. We are blown away at the work that everyone has done already. We're so thankful for the College of Nursing for taking this on during this time that we're all going through. We really, really appreciate it. But before I go any further, I do want to introduce our President and CEO, Jackie Weska. It's our 75th anniversary this year, as Prathima mentioned. And before I go any further, just want to let Jackie say a few words.
Hey, everybody. I want to add of our gratitude. We could not make our campaign goal without the University of Alabama. And last year, just as you, we had experienced a lot of challenges. And I hope many of you are familiar with our 211 helpline. It's something we'd love to come and talk to your departments about to let folks know. Everyone's heard of 911 for emergencies, but for daily struggles, maybe paying your power bill or paying your rent, you can dial 211. And our 211 helpline will connect individuals to organizations and nonprofits that can help them piece those bills together. Well, last year during the pandemic, our 211 helpline calls went up 400%. And so we realized, okay, most of the nonprofits are closed. We can't refer people to nowhere and to the few organizations that were left open. So we started our own COVID relief fund in March of last year. We raised over $400,000, and 98% of the people who called our 211 helpline had never asked for assistance before. And the gifts ranged anywhere from $170 to $2,600. And this was because it wasn't just a water bill. It was mortgages. It was COVID medical bills. And so after that, we started our campaign, and our board said, look, our nonprofits have been closed, or, they're on reimbursement grants, which means they conduct a service, they turn in a report, and then they get paid for that service. Well, they're having to socially distance all their clients. So even if they're open, they're not getting as much support because they do not have the capacity to serve as many clients socially distanced. They're not able to have their fundraisers. We raised $4.2 million last year. We've got to raise that again. So we set our goal for $4.2 million. We did not make that goal. We came in a little above $4 million. We were down about 3.4%. And nationwide, United Ways were down about 9.4%. But when you think about the amount, the $400,000 that was raised by this community prior to even starting our campaign, and then being able to raise $4 million to support our agencies, it really is a testament to the heart of our community and all of you who give and support us so well. Our board, we had layoffs at United Way. We had to get really lean and mean because our board said, you know what, we have got to at least level fund our agencies because they're hurting too much right now. We can't do that again, though. And since it is our 75th anniversary, we are really hopeful that you will allow us. We have a wonderful video this year that we can send to you. You can send it out in segments to share with folks. Let us speak. We found that giving goes up, whether it's Zoom or in person, by 18% when people find out about our 211 helpline and all the other great resources that Monique's going to touch on, that people, whether they make a gift or not, can take advantage of some of our school readiness programs, prescription savings, and our partner agencies, of course. So I'm going to hand it back to Monique. But again, I want to thank y'all for your leadership and just the great ingenuity that we see. Y'all are developing our next generation of leaders, but also in everything you're doing that this campaign is just as successful as everything else you do at the university. So thank you.
So we want to make sure that everyone has everything that you could possibly need in order to have a successful campaign. So when you come to the quad on Thursday, we are going to give everyone a bag that will have different materials in it. And if you need any additional materials, please let us know in case your department may need more of what you have. So the first thing I would think one of the most important things we'll have in the bag is some of our brochures. Inside, we have an insert that gives information about our history, since this is our 75th anniversary, as well as about the impact that we've been doing since COVID. Also, if you open it all the way up, it will highlight these 26 partner agencies and a description of each one. Also inside, you'll have information about that 211 helpline that Jackie has mentioned. We have the business card size as well as the postcard size. We have information about that Dolly Parton Imagination Library, which is a very popular program, but it should be. It helps to increase literacy around our West Alabama area. This is something that we offer in 6 out of 9 of our counties, where children can receive free books once a month, age birth to 5. If you know anyone who has a child or grandchild in that age range, please have them sign up for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Then we have our 75th edition, Getting Ready for Kindergarten calendar. This calendar has wonderful activities that parents can do around the home to get their children ready for kindergarten. It's August to July, wonderful program. Also, we will have in there one of my favorite things, a poster that you can hang high and proud in your department. There's a person on here on this one that kind of favors me. If you have this one, I'd love to see it if I come by your department to speak. And then also we have thermometers, so you can keep up with those individual goals that Prathima mentioned. Every department will have their own goal. You can use this thermometer to keep up with it. In addition, one last thing in there, before I get to the big thing that everybody likes to hear about, you have a window clean that you can hang up on your doors to let people know how UA supports United Way loud and proud. Also, I'd be remiss if I did not mention I think everyone's favorite thing that we do here, other than support our agencies, of course, our donor rewards card. This is a card that people can use all throughout the year, from January through December. You show it whenever you go to any restaurant or retailer that's listed on here. You can use it all year long. Our 2022 card that you can receive for making a gift of at least $5 per month, which is $60 for the year, has 7 new offers on there. Some of those was like my favorite, Jim and Nick's. Then we also have Mark Smart in Northport, Big Mike's Steakhouse. We even have Overflow Car Wash that's been added. And then we have some community partners that are coming back, like Jalapenos is coming back. Also Rock and Roll Sushi, Innisfree. This is a wonderful card. So please encourage people to give to at least get to this minimum amount so they can receive this card they can use all year long. So lastly, if you have not heard any reason to give to United Way, or if you have anyone who's like, donor rewards card, I don't know. I have another reason why everyone should really want to participate in this year's campaign. So every single year for forever, University of Alabama has been #1 for employee participation percentage in the United Ways that have SEC schools. There is a school that we play every single year in the Iron Bowl that I will leave nameless, that is creeping up on us. They are #2. We do not want them to become #1, do we? We do not. I would hate it if Jackie and I had to get on an SEC United Way call and we had to admit that we lost to that school. We'll be devastated. So please, if anyone is having any issue with giving for no other reason, tell them that. But on a serious note, as Jackie mentioned, our campaign has really been impacted a lot. It's really impacted our partner agencies. To date, they've lost over $4 million from missing out on those fundraisers, grant opportunities, and even those that have had to temporarily close. So this campaign is so important to them. So yes, as Dr. Pruitt mentioned, we would love to come out, speak in any of your departments. We will definitely follow any COVID protocols, wear masks, and we absolutely would be happy to join by Zoom. So if there's anything that we can do here at United Way, please let us know. And I will pass it now back over to Dr. Pruitt.
Well, thank you, Monique, for keeping that school nameless. I really appreciate that.
That's right. We don't bring them up.
Absolutely. And thank you for all the planning and getting all the materials together and planning to meet us out on the quad Thursday and get these materials distributed. We have a few more details we would like to share, and then we'll open it up for any questions, thoughts, comments, advice from our legacy coordinators, advice to the group. We would like to share the reporting dates for the campaign for this year. And so the reporting dates are on the screen. The dates, you can see them there. And so that you can kind of have a sense of when that reporting will be taking place. We know it's real time, but I would assume that, well, I know for me, I want to have that in mind as sort of a check-in in terms of where our area is in the process. So those are our reporting dates leading up to the celebration, and we'll give you those that final date again in just a couple moments. But before we conclude this afternoon's meeting, we would like to open up the floor for any questions or thoughts. You can place those in the chat or provide those here on Zoom. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, well, our silence speaks. It sounds as if we have covered the initial details for today's coordinator meeting. Before we conclude, for those of you who have served as coordinators in the past, do you have any advice or well wishes for maybe new coordinators that you'd like to share? Any tips or thoughts that you can share for our successful campaign? Okay, well, I'm not hearing any. That sounds like we all have great plans in mind that we are going to execute. We are so excited as we get started. A couple of reminders for you as we conclude. The kickoff, as has been mentioned several times, is this Thursday, 2 o'clock, right in front of Gorgas Library on the quad. We hope to see you there. We can't wait to receive the materials Monique was describing. And then our celebration is scheduled for October 14th. So you can go ahead and place that on your calendar as well. Same location. As we mentioned at the beginning, you are such a very special part of this process, and you're the reason why our campaign has been so successful, as well as our leadership team. So I'd like to take just a moment as we conclude to thank all of the members that you saw listed earlier during the program. Thank them for their time, their dedication, their forthcoming pledges. But I also want to thank you for your contribution today as a part of your pledge, and then the pledges that you will make towards the campaign. We thank you in advance for those. We encourage you to think about your why and to share that why with those in your departments, in your units. And if there is nothing else, I'll check the, we have a couple of questions. Where can we pick up cards and bags on Thursday? I teach at 2. I love that point. Well, the cards and the bags will be available out on the quad, but you certainly can come by our office, or we can make arrangements to get you the materials if you're in class at that time. We'll work that out with you. Our office, my office is over in Capitol Hall, and we will have some stored here, also in Community Affairs, but we will give you those directions of where you can pick it up, just in case if you have a conflict. All right. Well, if all hearts and minds are clear, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you are fired up and ready to go with this campaign. We are so fortunate to have the leadership in place to have a successful campaign. So thank you for your time. Have a great rest of your day, and roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Thank you.